Yeah, you go ahead.
Hare Krishna. So we are continuing the chapter where Vidura is asking the questions, and he met just Uddhava as of the last session. Now he's asking like when you meet a dear relative or a dear friend, you start inquiring various things. So that's a mood. Vidura and Uddhava actually going to converse, but even their topic is very transcendental. The kind of questions Vidura asks, for which he wants to, some of them he already knew the answers, but still he asks those questions. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Let's recite the Bhagavatam prayers also. I forgot that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Shunvatam Swakata Krishna Punyasya Gunakirtana Rudyantastoya Bhadrani Vidnoti Sahasratam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So this is that says Vidura meeting Uddhava. Uddhava is that I can see that younger than Vidura. So on the left hand side you can see the younger Uddhava, and there is sage Vidura, who looks like a mendicant. And the right hand side I believe it's sage Vidura meeting Maitreya. That's also so. So we have 20 verses. So we will go through each of these verses, only the translations, and the purports are very small for some of these things. So I captured all the purport points at the later point of time. We can discuss. But the mood in which Vidura actually asked these questions to Uddhava is, he knows Uddhava is a dear friend of Krishna, and Krishna is a friend of Pandavas. And he knows Kurus are bad because by his own experience he knows how Kurus behave, Dhritarashtra and his sons. That's why he took he went for the pilgrimage, and then at some point when he's in the Prabhas Kshetra, he came to know that Yudhishthira Maharaj is now ruling the whole world. That means by the time he knew that Kauravas are done, killed and other thing. So he knows this, but yet he inquires. It's like sometimes you know the answers, but you still inquire.
To know fully.
I know what happened, but you still want to inquire. Sometimes there's a confirmation, has it happened that way or not, right? In the end, also there's a way, if you see how he's actually asking these questions, you see the order of the sequence in which he orders. This also says what is important. So the first question is then, due to his great love and feeling, Vidura embraced him, Uddhava, who was a constant companion of Lord Krishna, that's what, and formerly a great student of Brihaspati. Vidura then asked him for news of the family of Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. He started with Krishna first, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please tell me whether the original personalities of Godhead, who incarnated themselves at the request of Brahma, who is born out of the lotus flower from the Lord, and who has increased the prosperity of the world by elevating everyone, are doing well in the house of Surasena. So he's inquiring about Baladeva and Lord Shri Krishna, who actually appeared because Lord Brahma prayed for it, and then they came actually because of their pastimes. They increased the prosperity of the world by elevating everyone. It's not the material prosperity he's talking about, giving the direct association to his pastimes in Vrindavana, Mathura, Dwaraka, all those things, right? And Hastinapura with Pandavas. So basically increase the pleasure of the devotees or people who depend on him. Or he is inquiring about how are they doing. Please tell me whether the best friend of the Kurus, our brother-in-law Vasudeva, is doing well. So Vasudeva is the brother-in-law of Vidura because Vasudeva's sister Kunti married Pandu. Pandu is the brother of Vidura. So that way they are brother. Also the another relationship is Mother Rohini is actually sister of Vidura. So Balaram's mother. So that also that way they are related. O Uddhava, please tell me how is Pradyumna, the commander-in-chief of the Yadus, who was a Cupid in a former life. Rukmini bore him as her son from Lord Krishna by the grace of Brahmanas whom she pleased. So Pradyumna seems to be the Cupid in the previous life, and as Krishna came, all everybody came to enhance his pleasure, part of the pastime. So like that, Pradyumna also came, and Prabhupada says Cupid is always with Lord wherever he is. Something he says special. He is an eternal associate of Lord Krishna. So wherever Krishna goes, he goes. Right. Oh my friend, tell me whether Ugrasena, the king of Satvatas, Vrishnis, Bhojas and Dasarhas, is now doing well. He went far away from his kingdom, leaving aside all hopes of his royal throne, but Lord Krishna again installed him. Ugrasena is the grandfather of Sri Krishna, and he is actually the king of all these kingdom types of races: Satvatas, Vrishnis, Bhojas, Dasarhas. Right? O gentle one, does Samba fare well? Samba is again son of Jambavati, I had, right? Jambavati and Krishna. He exactly resembles the son of personality of Godhead. In a previous birth, he was born as Kartikeya. This is very interesting. Lord Shiva's son, in the womb of the wife of Lord Shiva. And now he has been born in the womb of Jambavati, the most enriched wife of Krishna. O Uddhava, does Yudhana fare well? He learned the intricacies of the military art from Arjuna and attained the transcendental destination, which is very difficult to reach even for great renouncers. I don't know who's Yudhana is. I couldn't look up, but
Who's Yudhana?
Yudhana. Who's Yudhana, Prabhu? Okay, actually two.
The character in Mahabharata.
Yeah. You are. Then,
Is PPT like that? Oh, that's okay.
please tell me.
That's fine. I can see.
I'll read it out. It's like, yeah. Please tell me whether Akrura, the son of Swapalka, is doing well. He is a faultless soul, surrendered unto the personality of Godhead. He once lost his mental equilibrium due to his ecstasy of transcendental love and fell down on the dust of a road which was marked with the footprints of Lord Krishna. When he went to actually get Krishna to Mathura, he saw the footprints of Lord Krishna and he just rolled in that and did like a lost consciousness. So Prabhupada here says that is the nature of the devotees, and when they always think about Krishna, always in that mood of Krishna. So they're never separated from the Lord, and sometimes they behave like that. And he also quotes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's example. As the Vedas are the reservoir of sacrificial purposes, so the daughter of King Devaka Bhoja, which is Devaki, conceived the Supreme Personality of Godhead in her womb, as did the mother of the demigods. Yeah, is she doing well? Who is the mother of the demigods? Aditi, right? So like she gave birth to the demigods, Mother Devaki here actually gave birth to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? How is she doing? May inquire whether Aniruddha is doing well. He is the fulfiller of all the desires of the pure devotees and has been considered from yore to be the cause of the Rigveda, the creator of the mind and the fourth plenary expansion of Vishnu. So Aniruddha, he is the in the previous actually we'll talk about. So Aniruddha is considered the creator of the Rigveda, the cause of Rigveda. But actually Rigveda came from Mahavishnu. Right? Mahavishnu's breathing is the Rigveda. So the Prabhupada says, I think the Mahavishnu actually came from Aniruddha.
Yeah.
The original fourth expansion. So Aniruddha is the cause of Mahavishnu. So that way Aniruddha is in the primary cause, but Mahavishnu become the director.
Aniruddha or
Sankarsana.
No,
But all of them are there.
Yeah, so yeah, there are a lot of details there.
Aniruddha
He says the fourth plenary expansion.
Siradaksha Vishnu is the
Enters everyone.
Okay.
Aniruddha is Siradaksha is the Vishnu is the expansion of Aniruddha. And Pradyumna is Garbhodaksha Vishnu.
So from wherever the Vedas came, I think it came from Mahavishnu only, right?
Vedas come from.
Yeah, the sound of Mahavishnu's breathing.
Actually, it's coming from. I mean, we can say
Yeah.
it's from Mahavishnu, but
That's how
it
it's
comes down
okay.
because I think Siradaksha Vishnu is giving.
And he's also actually the creator of the mind. So
Yes.
that's what
He is
Aniruddha.
of the mind.
Yeah. O sober one, others such as Hrudika, Charudesna, Gada, and the son of Satyabhama, who accept Lord Sri Krishna as the soul of the self and thus follow his path without deviation, are they well? So he's asking about the other relatives and the sons of Lord Sri Krishna, prominent ones. Also, let me inquire whether Maharaja Yudhishthira is now he came to Pandavas. So first he talked about all
Krishna
Lord
and his
Krishna
descendants.
and then came to his devotees. Also, let me inquire whether Maharaja Yudhishthira is now maintaining the kingdom according to religious principles and with respect to the path of religion. Formerly, Duryodhana was burning with envy because Yudhishthira was being protected by the arms of Krishna and Arjuna as if they were to his own arms, right? Yudhishthira was protected by Krishna and Arjuna, that's because Yudhishthira is a dharma personified. So this question, is he still maintaining the religious principle, is sometimes looks like a redemptory, but it's like enhancing the pleasure and greatness of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Not that Vidura has a doubt about Yudhishthira actually now following, now you got the kingdom, as he doing it kind of question. We should not think that way. Sometimes it's like, I know you will do it kind of thing, right? We'll ask, put a question from, that's how it is. Please tell me whether the unconquerable Bhima, who is like a cobra, has released his long cherished anger upon the sinners. The field of battle could not tolerate even the wonderful playing of his club when he stepped on the path. Now Bhima is given a prominence here. He's like a cobra, as him. Like he took a oath that he's going to kill all the Kurus, right, Kauravas. Please tell me whether Arjuna, whose bow bears the name Gandiva and who is always famous among the chariot warriors for vanquishing his enemies, is doing well. He once satisfied Lord Shiva by covering him with arrows when Shiva came as an unidentified false hunter. There is a pastime where Lord Shiva and Arjuna fight over a boar, and Lord Shiva, pleased by Arjuna's courageous and fighting skills, he actually gives him the Pashupatastra, which is very useful in the war of Kurukshetra. Are the twin brothers who are protected by their brothers doing well? Now he's talking about Nakula and Sahadeva. Just as the eye is always protected by the eyelid, they are protected by the sons of Pratha, who snatched back their rightful kingdom from the hands of their enemy Duryodhana. Just as Garuda snatched nectar from the mouth of Indra, the thunderbolt carrier. Apparently Garuda took the Amrita from Indra, because Indra never wanted to give, I think give it to the Nagas, right? So here, similar way, the rightful kingdom is actually taken back from those guys. So he's saying how the twin brothers are being protected. Are they doing well? Oh my lord, is Pratha still living? Now he's talking about Kunti Devi. Pratha. She lived only for the sake of her fatherless children. Otherwise it was impossible for her to live without King Pandu, who was the greatest commander and who alone conquered the 4 directions simply with the help of a second bow. So I don't know, Prabhupada didn't explain what is the second bow here, but he talks more about Kunti Devi and Madri. Kunti and Madri both were supposed to enter the fire of Pandu when he died, but then Madri requests, saying that Kunti to stay back and take care of her sons and others. So Kunti stayed back. So he says a chaste wife will always live with the husband, and also it's like Sati essentially. In Vedas, it was previous yugas. It is the voluntary entering into the fire of the husband, because husband is the spiritual master and the beloved and all these things, and wives are chaste and they enter. So what Prabhupada says in the Kali Yuga, it's always become a social norm. So when the people do it for a social norm, like social custom, it's not useful. So essentially saying you should not be attempting that kind of thing. O gentle one, I simply lament for, now he comes back to his brother Dhritarashtra, who rebelled against his brother after death. By him I was driven out of my own house, although I am his sincere well-wisher, because he accepted the line of action adopted by his own sons, which is Duryodhana. Right? So he's not talking about Dhritarashtra, saying that he is not listening to anybody. This is something. This great. I need to take this out.
Next.
No.
One more.
Yeah. O gentle one. That's the basically that picture is showing that it's Pandavas, inquiry about Pandavas, Krishna.
Okay.
O gentle one, I simply lament for Dhritarashtra, who rebelled against his brother after death. By him I was driven out of my own house, although I am his sincere well-wisher, because he accepted the line of action adopted by his own son. I am not astonished at this, having travelled over the world without being seen by others. The activities of the personality of Godhead, which are like those of a man in this material world, are bewildering to others. But I know his greatness by his grace, and thus I am happy in all respects. He's saying because of that he got an opportunity to go and do Tirtha Yatras. And when you go to Tirtha Yatras, the purpose is to hear about the Lord. All the good things happen, and he is not disturbed by any of these things. He wandered like a mendicant, that means unseen by others. That means nobody who has seen him thinks like, oh, he's a Vidura. He's not, can't even recognize him. He's like almost like a mendicant, right? So unrecognizable. That's how you travel. But he is not bewildered by that. Even the common man might be bewildered, but he is not. Despite his being the Lord and being always willing to relieve the distress of the sufferers, he, Krishna, refrained from killing the Kurus. Although they committed all sorts of sins, and although he saw other kings constantly agitating the earth by the strong military movements carried out under the dictation of the three kinds of false pride. So here, Krishna is one of his goals is to relieve the sufferings of the devotees and also take care of, annihilate the miscreants. Why didn't he do that when Draupadi is what do you call the Draupadi is I'm not getting the right word. The Dushasana tried to humiliate Draupadi in the Kuru assembly. Why didn't Krishna take care of this entire thing that time itself? Because he knew, he just supplied the sari, but why didn't he take care of it? Right? Prabhupada answers that later. The appearance of the Lord is manifested for the annihilation of the upstarts. His activities are transcendental and are enacted for the understanding of all persons. Otherwise, since the Lord is transcendental to all material modes, what purpose could he serve by coming to earth? So here Prabhupada is giving an answer. Like it's all, when Lord comes here, there is a transcendental purpose for that. Enhance the pleasure and also takes care of the miscreants. Otherwise, he himself has no business here to come down and is not affected by the material modes or anything. It's not. He's not. It doesn't come as a material body. It's like he has a spiritual body, right? Oh, my friend, please, therefore, chant the glories of the Lord, who is meant to be glorified in the places of pilgrimage. He is unborn, and yet he appears by his causeless mercy upon the surrendered rulers of all parts of the universe. Only for their interest did he appear in the family of his unalloyed devotees, the Yadus. So he says, just to enhance their, show the mercy on all the surrendered souls, the devotees, he will come down. It's a touch. So, as I talked right in the beginning, he asked a question like, how are all these people doing? Krishna, he knows by the time all these things have happened, wars and he says the inquiry appears to be very queer, but Srila Jiva Goswami states that the news was shocking to Vidura, because he knew it's happened, but still is shocking to Vidura, who therefore inquired again due to great curiosity. Thus, his inquiry was psychological but not practical. It's not a practical thing that knowing this, why did he ask? It's like sometimes we get like a surprise. Really, it happened? Kind of. He comes. And Krishna and Baldev are not subjected to regulations of the universe. This is when he's talking about those two personalities. When they come into this material world to Devaki and Rohini, it doesn't mean they are actually affected by the material laws. Because they are not taking ordinary birth. They never take birth. They are always there. They just come. So they are not subject to the regulations of the universe. Or the contrary, the whole universe is under their subjugation. It's basically maintained by them. They appeared at the request of Brahma to liberate the burden of the world, and they relieve the world by many superhuman activities so that everyone become happy and prosperous. So, one key point which is that without the grace of the Lord, no one can become happy and prosperous. So, if somebody is prosperous and is happy, we have to know that Lord's mercy is upon him. So, that's one way of looking at it. If somebody is prosperous, okay, Lord's mercy is upon him. So, we should not feel envy about it. Right? Because the happiness of the family of the Lord's devotees depends on the happiness of the Lord. So Vidura first of all inquired about the well-being of the Lord. That's the reason why he started with Lord Sri Krishna first. Because if every activity is directed towards Supreme Personality of Godhead, you're thinking like his welfare. By automatically doing that, automatically your welfare is taken care of it. So while inquiring about Vasudeva's welfare, Vidura remembered all about him and the family relationship. Like I said, right, with how his Vasudeva is doing, right? When Vasudeva is the brother of Vidura, and brother-in-law of Vidura, and two ways he are related. One from Kunti's side, another from Rohini, Baladeva's side. So so we're talking about this is Pradyumna. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, Smara, Cupid or Kamadeva is one of eternal associates of Lord Krishna. We talked about it. Jiva Goswami has explained this very elaborately in his treatise Krishna Sandarbha. So eternal means wherever Krishna, whenever comes, they'll come because they're just part of it. And it is learned here that Kamadeva appeared as Pradyumna and Kartikeya as Samba, and one of the Vasus as Uddhava. So Uddhava is one of the Vasus. Same as Bhishma is also one of the Vasus, right? Yeah. All of them served in their different capacities in order to enrich the pastimes of Krishna. I thought Kartikeya was somebody else, right?
Kartikeya Samba.
I'm not sure.
Previously, it says Kartikeya was. In the verse, it is different.
Vasus are devotees of Krishna. All Vasus.
Not all of them.
Uddhava is
Uddhava, I think. Uddhava
is always in
down.
And then Adhokshaja is, there is a word Prabhupada uses, and Adhokshaja is who is beyond the reach of the senses, beyond the reach of the happiness. That means you're not affected by the senses, you derive certain pleasure, right? And that is called Adhokshaja happiness. So there people do all these yogic practices when they're withdrawing their senses, they are definitely getting some kind of happiness, and that is called Adhokshaja happiness. That is not is beyond Adhokshaja happiness is beyond Brahman happiness.
Yes.
So Brahman bliss is enjoyed by living entities after liberation from material bondage. Means the yoga practices, whatever we do, if you're freeing you from the material bondage, that is a Brahman happiness. But Parabrahman, which is higher, the personality of Godhead, enjoys eternally a bliss of his own potency, which is called the Hladini potency. Because that's the Lord's enjoyment. Supreme Personality Godhead, he enjoys the Hladini potency. So that is what Parabrahman concept. So this internal potency is, however, easily realized by the devotees of the Lord by dint of devotional service. So Prabhupada makes sure that we don't go into those paths, bringing back to saying that doing the devotional service, you realize all these things. Don't need to worry. And he's talking about now here Akruras. Akruras. Constant thought of the Lord is the antiseptic method for keeping oneself free from the infectious contamination of the material qualities. So like Harilas Prabhu says, right, chanting is before you go to office, after office you come, you do that, it's like a protection. It's like a antivirus injection, whatever you get. Like similarly here, constant thought of the Lord is the antiseptic method. So that's the reason we should remembrance of Lord, and either chanting, reading, or talking about Him, or thinking about Him, painting about Him, right, writing about Him, whatever activity you do, you are constantly, if you are thinking about Lord, you are protected from the material contamination. The purity out of the Lord is always in company with the Lord by thinking of Him. That is Akrura and Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu's examples. We talked about Devaki. Devaki is compared to the meaningful Vedas, and the Lord to the purpose personified. So Prabhupada is saying Devaki is nothing but the meaningful Vedas. Purpose of Vedas is to glorify and tell about Lord Narayana, and the Lord is that purpose personified when he came out of Devaki's womb, right? So from Vedas, Vishnu like that. Aniruddha is also the cause of Mahavishnu. Here is it says in the purports. Aniruddha is also the cause of Mahavishnu, from whose breathing the Rigveda appeared. Aniruddha appeared as the son of the Lord. And Dhritarashtra, now he is coming to Dhritarashtra part. At the last stage of Dhritarashtra's life, it was Vidura only who proved to be his real friend, because he is the one who comes and now enough, let's go, and he takes Dhritarashtra out, and that's how Dhritarashtra leaves the body by meditating and burns his body. Yeah, such is the behavior of a Vaishnava like Vidura. He desires all good even for his enemies. So, though the cause of Vidura's apparent misery is Dhritarashtra, Vidura held no grudge. He went and still delivered Dhritarashtra. And even after all this thing, why do you want to stay in somebody's home like this? He was not at all sorry to bereft his hearth and home, because he now had experienced that dependence on this is about talking about Vidura, on the mercy of the Lord is greater freedom than so-called freedom at home. So he says, Vidura is not at all, unhappy or anything, because he lost his home or anything, because he completely depended on the mercy of the Lord. When he's traveling in this forest, he was only thinking about the Lord. A person should not be in the renounced order of life unless he is firmly convinced of being protected by the Lord. So this is the first qualification. You cannot take sannyasa just like that unless you have that firm conviction. Right? So it said, Abhayam Sattva Samsuddhi. Every living entity is factually completely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. It's a verse, one word from I think Bhagavad Gita. I don't remember the sloka. So it says every living entity is actually completely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. And without his mercy, nothing moves. A devotee of the Lord who is called Narayana Para is never afraid of anything, because he is always aware of the fact that the Lord protects him in all circumstances. Again, Prabhupada quoting from different angles. And then about Krishna, Lord, he is always bewildering to the non-devotees, but he is always seen by the devotees by dint of their pure devotional service to him. So non-devotees may speculate, try to understand him through their scientific methods, but they will never reach to him. But wherever the pure devotees, it's easy. This is the Draupadi's. Yeah. So we talked about, right, why did Lord didn't take action? He seems to be inactive, right? Why did Lord tolerate such injustices and insults in his presence? Why did he not chastise the gurus immediately? So here the answer is, the Lord always wants to see his devotees as the hero of some episode, right? He wants to give the credit to his devotees, for which he organizes some of these things. So he says some episode which he himself performs. He is the one who is actually dictating the entire thing, but he still wants to give the credit to his devotees. So he wanted to see his devotee and friend Arjuna as the hero of battle of Kurukshetra, and thus he waited for all the miscreants of the world to assemble. The purpose is not just one, take care of Dushasana at that time or Duryodhana. He said there are so many such people in that yuga, in the end of yuga. If you see that even each of these warriors are so powerful, they can shake the earth like anything. So earth has really burdened by all these pious and impious kings who are powerful, and Krishna has to do some arrangement, because now yuga is also coming to an end. So he says he waited for all the miscreants of the world to assemble. That and nothing else is the explanation of his waiting. Why he waited? It's just like grand finale. And then he wants to give entire credit to Arjuna. He took care of it. So the activities of the Lord are to be accepted and relished by all living entities. His activities are to attract the ordinary man towards the Lord. The Lord always acts in favor of the devotees, and therefore ordinary men who are fruitive actors or seekers of salvation may be attracted to the Lord when he acts as a protector of the devotees. Prabhupada saying both fruitive actors and people who are looking for salvation, both will get attracted to the Lord. Right? The meaningful appearance of the Lord is always distinct from the ordinary birth. We talked about, like, just because Krishna is born through the mother Devaki doesn't mean he took an ordinary birth. Even the pure devotees have no connection with the material body, and certainly the Lord, who appears as he is in his Satchitananda form, is not limited by a material form. Pure devotees are also not bound by a material body. So if pure devotees are not born. Well, the Lord, who is the master of all, is definitely not. The purpose of pilgrimages, this is about Vidura went on various pilgrimages, all the important kshetras he actually visited. So the purpose of the pilgrimage is to remember the Lord constantly, and therefore the Lord is known as Tirtha Kirti. The purpose of going to a place of pilgrimage is to get the chance to glorify the Lord. To get a chance to glorify the Lord. I mean, you're always looking for why you going to particular tirtha, and we go to all these tirthas, but we do the regular stuff there. Then that's not the purpose. You can do that here also, right? When you go to inquire about him. What is the pastime happened there? Why it happened? Or what? That only enhances your pleasure. It's not that has it happened really there. Oh, I can't believe this. Not with that intent. If you are inquiring about the Lord and the pastime is only enhancing your pleasure, then the purpose of going to that pilgrimage is actually served. The beauty of such pilgrimage site is that automatically one remembers the holy glories of the Lord. Automatically. His name, fame, quality, form, pastimes and entourage are all identical to the Lord. So whatever aspect of the Lord which is there in that tirtha is still the Lord. And therefore chanting the glories of the Lord invokes the personal presence of the Lord. So when you are remembering him about his pastimes, essentially you are relating with the Lord personally. So the punchline here is anytime or anywhere pure devotees meet and chant glories of the Lord is present without any doubt. So Prabhupada, even if we may not be saying it, we may not be realizing it, but the pure devotees, when they meet and chant the glories of the Lord, his Lord is always there. It is said by the Lord himself that he always stays where his pure devotees chant his glories. So we should always take the association of sadhus who come here, even for a second, doesn't matter, minute, whatever it is, take the glory and be part of that Krishna Katha. Right? That way we are going to benefit from that rain which is pouring because of them.
There is a one verse which also indicates that.
Yeah,
I am not in the...
Prabhupada quotes this from some, I don't know.
I think in Vishnu Puran or somewhere it is given that I am not in the...
Manduka
Manduk.
Purana.
What is it?
That I am not in the heavenly planet,
Yeah.
I am not here, I am not with the yogis.
Wherever my devotees...
Wherever my devotees are glorified.
Yatra Gayanti.
Yes, something. Yes.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Very nice class.
Any question answers?
Yes, you can continue question answers.
We have to keep it.
Okay. Any questions, Prabhu? I'm actually doing it. I only have one question which I couldn't get answer yet. Who is Yudhana? I don't know. I need to find out.
If you read Mahabharata, then Mahabharata will be...
Yeah, maybe.
Character will be...
Yeah, in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
He's mentioned. Yudhana is mentioned, but who is Yudhana? Apparently he did a great job.
So, if you read all of Srila Prabhupada's books, somewhere else you mentioned
Yeah.
it. We just don't know it yet. Yes, that's all it is.
He talked about everything.
All right. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
So, do you have Veda